This Express Training Bites broadcast is brought to you by PromoJournal, a division of Promo Corner. PromoJournal provides fresh, daily content from industry thought leaders, blogs, videos, product features, and live content all in one convenient location. Weekly advertising opportunities are available. Contact sales at promocorner.com to get your message seen.
This is Express Training Bites. I am Brendan Petrich. I'm the digital media director at Promo Corner, and we have an amazing guest, Ian Swope from PromoEQP, and he's going to be talking a little bit about his new video series that, for lack of a better term, could be controversial, but we'll talk about how it's actually going to be a huge help for distributors and suppliers. So before we get into it, Ian, how are we doing today, man?
Not too bad. Still kind of recovering from my long weekend. So seems to be a little more than 3 days. I'm not sure how that happens,
but that is awesome. It is always hard to get back into it, but we are here. So before we get started, I think I want to answer just one question right off the bat. What is PromoEQP and your kind of role there?
Well, PromoEQP is very simply a pricing program for the independent distributor. We kind of, my partner Jeremy Chacon and I laugh that in many ways, had the industry kept its promise to the to the independent distributor about access to pricing years ago, our company wouldn't exist. But we're just a very simple service where we allow our distributors who are part of our program to get access to the best possible bulk pricing discount from up to 180 separate suppliers in the industry. And we don't just chase suppliers. We only add suppliers when our distributors request them specifically.
That's awesome. Okay. And that was going to be one of my things, because I see all these buying groups and I see all that stuff out there, and it's just like, oh man, how does all of that work? And is there, is the head company making more money than the distributors that are actually part of it? But it sounds to me like you guys are doing a great job of
we probably make way less money than we could. we leave a lot of dollars on the table, because one of the things we made a point to never do was years ago is to never engage in rebate or kickbacks or those kind of things. We don't do any of that with our suppliers. We don't charge our suppliers anything. We don't have our hands in their pockets in any way, for two reasons. One, we don't want there to ever be any confusion with our distributors over who we work for. We work for the distributor. And number two, we don't want there to be we don't want it to be something where we're seen as lining our pockets on the back of their sales, right? I'm not the one making their sales. Our distributors are. They are running their own companies, their own businesses. That's not my dollar to take. Now, so that's one of the reasons we keep it very, very simple. We only have a monthly fee that we bill our distributors, and we tend to have really good relationships with our suppliers because of it too.
See, and that's awesome. And that segues right into what we are going to be talking about. You guys, they are going to be putting out a new monthly series called Got Your Back. And is it monthly or is it just monthly on Promo Corner?
We're hoping to do 1 to 2 a month.
Okay.
We're keeping it pretty loose because it is something that's more of a conversational thing, not something that, here's a new product, here's a new service, blah, blah, blah. We're trying to keep it more of, the whole basis of the Got Your Back program really is, it's the basis of this, what I think is this industry in a nutshell, the relationships.
Yep, absolutely. So let's dive a little bit further into it. And I think I just lost my video. That's awesome.
I thought you were going to some kind of cool graphic, but
it's so awesome. My GoPro just decided that it didn't want to be a webcam anymore. So
technology, man.
That is fantastic. So what is the main idea behind Got Your Back, and how did you guys kind of come up with this idea?
Well, starting about a little over a year ago, when when everybody was experiencing the shutdowns, the lockdowns, and the dramatic change in business and things of how that were coming throughout the industry, we started doing what a lot of people do. We started saying, well, how do we keep things operating inside of more of a virtual environment? And so we started doing virtual webinars with our suppliers to our distributors, where the supplier would host, essentially like, here's kind of a product motivated discussion and maybe do 30 minutes. We record those, share them on social. We'd have them live with our distributors, and those seem to go pretty well, actually. But we realized a year into it, people were kind of zoomed out, and not to fault any of the suppliers, but at a certain point, when you've seen one, you've seen all of them.
Right.
And we don't need another show and tell of our catalog. And so we started looking back and saying, well, what can we do now that things are starting to open up, and yet there's almost a hybrid model going forward? What can we take that's the best of what we adopted over the last year and combine it with what we have going forward? And we started looking at, well, what if we, instead of doing the product showcase, what if we did a long form discussion with a supplier? And we took a supplier that we felt, or that our distributors felt was a supplier they wanted to hear from. Mm-hmm. And we did a long form, hour and a half long, wide ranging discussion, and then edit it down to a nice, concise 30 minutes or so, to put some better production value on it, be able to show some things a little bit better. Yeah. And maybe even ask some questions that don't normally get asked of our suppliers. And that's kind of how it came about. And we started going to our distributors and asking them, first off, who's a supplier that you feel has been a partner in all this? Who do you think has your back? And it's funny, we didn't ask them who you use the most. We asked them, who do you like working with the most? Because you're not going to get the same answer. And by and large, it was a quick list of folks, so we started reaching out to them. People like have been mentioned, like HPG. Our distributors love working with them. We learned a lot from HPG. They did a phenomenal job of kind of transitioning to this hybrid kind of virtual / in-person model, and raising the production values a little bit so people can really get a good idea, and maybe making things that even distributors can share with their buyers. Here's a video demonstration of a product that's a little bit better than the normal junk, right? But we didn't want it to just be suppliers that everybody loves. We wanted to find suppliers that people want to hear from. And that kind of led us to the first one we're really going to be releasing here is from the Koozie Group, who many distributors, I'm sure, would say, I don't know if they have my back, but you know what? We wanted to ask them that question.
Right.
And we wanted to see how they would respond to it. So I think that's going to be an interesting one coming up here.
Oh, I absolutely agree with it. I mean, and that's why I started with the controversial but helpful. I mean, because it's one of those things, like, I'm pretty sure you've got another company that we're all thinking about writing to that you're going to be interviewing as well. And so It's just, I think this is a great conversation to have. And I've heard a little bit of the teaser video, which will be dropping very soon, but that was it's very awesome how professional and everything it will come off, because these are tough questions, but this isn't, and tell me if I'm wrong, this isn't like a gossip piece or a TMZ piece. This is more for
no. Okay. Although I've said before, I've often joked that, two industries I worked in before I started working in the industry. I worked in the restaurant industry and I worked in the IT industry. And I always said, man, you know what those two industries have that we don't? A gossip rag. Our industry doesn't have a gossip rag. Everybody's so nice. Nobody wants to air dirty laundry. No, this isn't anything like that. But we did want to ask some really pointed questions. And you know what? Hats off to Koozie. They were very upfront in saying we sent them the guidelines of what we wanted to talk about, and they didn't blanch at all from any of it. They said, no, go ahead, ask us. We're a wide open book. Awesome. So we thought that was, you know what, that should be one that should get out there, especially with everything going on. So
that's fantastic.
The teaser video is a little dramatic. I think I made it,
but you're supposed to, right? It's supposed to be like that, right? In a world, like I love it. It was very well done. You guys did a great job. I am very interested in this next question that I've kind of come up with. How did you guys land on video versus just a podcast or like a written blog or something like this for this information to get out?
Well, we went to video mainly because, we've been doing the live Zoom thing for a year. Mm-hmm. And real quickly, we kind of started learning that the Zoom thing was great for certain items, but it had its limitations as well on other things. And if we wanted to do like some better graphical elements, it made it difficult to do that in a live setting. Whereas if we were able to do a recording, and we quickly learned that we weren't going to use, don't get me wrong, we have a Zoom account. Zoom works great for a lot of things, but we learned for the recording process, we were actually using a different service for that because we wanted to get like a better high quality video stream, high quality audio stream, and be able to mix those and the editing process a little bit better than what you get from Zoom, right?
Yes.
And we wanted to be able to say, well, listen, maybe some of these, like HBG is a great example. We recorded with them that'll be coming out here pretty soon. And they had tons of video collateral essentially that we could use to kind of punctuate some of the things they were talking about during the discussion. So it made sense to kind of do it that way. Plus it gave us a little more control to make it look better. We're kind of aesthetic guys. We wanted it to look better. I mean,
That's awesome. Now, will you be putting out like a podcast form of it as well, or is it just going to be strictly?
I don't know. That's actually a really good question. It's funny. We're definitely, I would say nothing's off the table for us. Right. And, and it's fun. You're like the second person inside of 7 days that's mentioned a podcast specifically. So now I'm like, oh yeah, maybe. Okay. That might be a good way to do it. Yeah.
That's awesome. We do have a few people watching this live, and Nadav is actually commenting. And you guys, if you have any questions for Ian on what this is going to be, or any questions on what PromoEQP is or anything, put those in the comment section there. And he is tagged in this, so he will be jumping on and answering those on Facebook later in the day. But
sure.
For right now, while we're live, if you have any questions, we can answer those live too. But Nadav jumped in here. Nadav Raviv, he's been a huge supporter of everything we're doing here at Promo Corner. And that's one thing he always mentioned to me. He's like, man, I love your Express Training Bite stuff, but I listen to podcasts and that's in video form only. He's like, so put it in a podcast, man. So yeah. That's funny.
All right. Now I'm like, that's as soon as we're jumping off here, the first thing I'm looking up.
Yep. That's awesome. All right, well, cool. So we've kind of talked about the idea behind it, where it's going, why it's video. What is your hope for what the promotional products industry takes away from this video series?
Well, the thing I'd like it to take away from this video series is kind of the thing that I'd like it to take away from 2020. And this is kind of something I've been saying for a while now, and it's kind of become a hallmark of our company, is that, in going through up to 2019, our industry, we looked down on ourselves. We looked at ourselves as cheap trinkets and cheap stuff and tchotchkes and junk from China and resold crap. I mean, my daughter loved me coming home from a trade show with a big bag of like samples and stuff. But we looked at ourselves as kind of like, the bowels of the marketing industry, right? Not after 2020, man. After 2020, who were we? We were a frontline marketing industry. We were there putting signs on doors telling them go in the opposite place, or signs on your floors telling people which direction to go down in aisles. We pivoted to healthcare items. I mean, we are no longer middlemen. We are not salespeople. We're solutions providers. We're problem solvers, whatever their buyer needs. And that was driven by the independent distributor out there responding to their buyers saying, hey, this is what I need. I mean, we had at PromoEQP distributors calling us up saying, man, I had to take a second job to keep my business afloat, but I'm keeping it afloat. And to me, 2020 is the year of the independent distributor who just frankly kicked ass. Sorry, I don't know if that's
no, absolutely. No, there are much better words, like bigger 4-letter words that I love to use about how everybody just everybody became a pure badass in this industry.
Absolutely.
And took the bull by the horns and said, this is what I'm going to do. This is my business. Stopped being an order taker and became a solutions provider. And that was huge.
And I would say too, that like, if we can take anything away, I mean, that was kind of a driving thing with the Got Your Back thing as well, was because we wanted to emphasize, well, what kept us going? It was those relationships. Yeah. It was the relationships of the buyer with their distributor, and that distributor not saying, well, I can't get that. I do promotional products. No distributor said that in 2020. They said, tell me what you need. I'm going to find it. I'll get it for you. You need what was it? Non-imprinted masks, right? Was like a #1 category, right? That's technically not promo. Our distributor said, who cares? Don't care. Doesn't matter. We're selling it. You know, that's what my buyer needs. That's what I'm getting. And then it was the supplier partners to those distributors who responded to it. I mean, this industry is filled, you know, and I'm including myself in this. This industry is filled with a lot of, you know, people who aren't suppliers, distributors, or buyers. And, you know, and it's filled with a lot of the people who aren't one of those three, telling distributors and suppliers and buyers what they need to do. And you know what? They succeeded in 2020 by the skin of their teeth, by not listening to that crap and doing what the buyers needed and being in front of their people. So, I mean, I say, if we can go forward and take that into 2021 and beyond, we got a shot. Otherwise, you know, Amazon deserves to take us over. You know, if we can't capitalize on that, you know, we deserve to like just be taken over. We won't, but you know.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Got Your Back is the name of the series.
Right.
Do you have the back of the distributor, or do you have the back of the supplier, or is it just, do you have everybody's back in this industry?
We work for the distributor.
Yeah.
At PromoEQP, I look at myself as a distributor advocate. That is my job. You know, if a supplier's feathers get ruffled looking after my distributor, I'm okay with that, because I know it's all for the greater good. And, you know, and in the end, that supplier wants to help that distributor as well. But I work for the distributor, you know. That being the case, we're calling it Got Your Back because it could be anybody, right? And we want to focus on, I mean, there are service providers who may have your back out there. There are suppliers who may have your back out there. There may be other companies that are peripheral to this that our distributors come to us and say, hey, we love working with these guys, or we love what they're doing. And it may not be something as simple as that. So we're kind of leaving it wide open, all of the above.
I love it, man. I am looking forward to this show so much. So it is Got Your Back. It's from PromoEQP. Now, when and where are people going to be able to see this? I know that Promo Corner is going to be one of the places that you're going to be able to watch it, but where else is this going to be?
Well, we're kind of organizing the release with Promo Corner.
Awesome.
So we're kind of letting Lori and everybody over there kind of take the lead on, because, you know, one thing Jeremy and I have learned is that although we can have really great relationships with our distributors and suppliers, we can work on their needs, and we're a great liaison between those two. We kind of suck at the whole social media thing, probably because I'm not an 11-year-old girl like my daughter, who is like, we should probably hire her. I don't know. And so we're definitely going with the experts on this one. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, this is going to be fantastic. It is going to be posted on Promo Corner's PromoJournal. It is going to be monthly, just like any of the other content that you see on PromoJournal from Promo Corner. You can find the links on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. It's going to be just about everywhere. Even though Promo Corner is not an 11-year-old girl, we are the experts, and we are doing a pretty good job at getting the stuff out there for the promo industry. I am pumped on this show, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. Are you excited for the show? Are you excited to see?
I'm really pumped for it. I am, because I want to see those kind of conversations happen more in our industry, you know, where we're actually having real discussions. I do want to point out too, we will have it on the PromoEQP YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook, and both of those things too, which but those are going to be released in time with the Promo Corner stuff. So
that's awesome. And I'm going to ask you a tough question, because I think you're doing it to the suppliers now. How are you guys going to handle all the negative comments that are going to come in? Because you know there's going to be a lot of talking back and forth with this show, especially when you ask a tough question, you're going to get a tough answer and you're going to have tough replies.
You know, I can speak to, like, when we were done recording the koozie one, and we asked them some very pointed questions. Mm-hmm. My takeaway is, you know, probably not everybody's going to be, there's going to be plenty of people who are not happy with those answers. And you know what? I get it. They have every right to not be happy with those answers, you know? I will say this, Koozie answered them. I give them props for that. They stepped up, they answered them. There wasn't one thing they said, hey, no, we're not going to talk about that. They didn't shy away from anything. So, and I think that's, you know, that'll be good. You know, there may be people who feel like it's a commercial for the company. you're free to feel that, but at the same time, we're still asking the questions. And we would reach out to all of our distributors and say, hey, anybody coming up, what do you want to know? What do you want us to talk about? Because it's not really for me, it's really for the distributors out there, like to try to get them answers to questions they want asked.
That is fantastic. You guys, it is called Got Your Back. It's going to be on Promo Corner's Promo Journal on September 22nd will be the first drop of the first episode. We're doing a paid partnership with PromoEQP. We are pumped on this. They are pumped on this. Thank you so much, Ian, for joining me today here on Express Training Bites to actually talk about this upcoming show.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It was great.
That'd be awesome. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, you can see this on the first and third Tuesdays of every month. So we will see you on the third Tuesday in September. See you guys then.
Thanks a lot.